For the first kind of compromise, we'll go away from alignments and instead look just at mismatches. And the subsection doesn't have that in the name because it's titled after the technique that we'll learn about. Some people might know this. Here I'll just first use it, and then we'll see how to build the data structure that's behind this later. So to simplify the problem, let's just look at the minimal Hamming distance instead of something like edit distance. So we go away from alignments with insertions and deletions and to alignments that only allow matches and mismatches. That makes the problem a good deal easier because for every starting position in the text, there's a single unique way how you could match the pattern against this. That was not the case for alignments. Right? So for every starting index, there's exactly this one length m substring for t that can be irrelevant. Now you can ask this problem, you can ask in two different ways. One would be you're only interested in finding one match with the minimal Hamming distance among all possible matches. Or you could say I'm supplying a threshold and I want to see all matches where the Hamming distance is below the threshold. I think what I'm claiming here is basically true for both versions. This is an open problem. We don't really know what the best time is to solve this in the general case of having no pre-processing done on either of the two strings. There's very sophisticated algorithms that try to improve on this. I'm not going to explain these in more detail. The tricky bit is that for exact matches, you can somehow study how the pattern self-overlaps and then conclude from no match in a certain position that there's not going to be a match very close. Because there can only be a match very close if some part of the pattern that you've just looked at this point matches the shifted pattern. That's exactly what we used in KMP. That there has to be a certain minimum number of characters you shift the pattern before it even makes sense to check for another match. Now, if you do matches with mismatches, or this is the k-Mismatch matching, if you do matches with Hamming distance, that's no longer so clear, right? It could be that you don't have a current match here, but there's a couple of characters where you don't know because the text might differ. And then it's much less clear how much to shift further. And so there's some fairly sophisticated studies about what you can still do in this case to shift the pattern more forward. But I guess it's fair to say it's still open and there's nothing that comes close to linear time. All these methods are still involving at least the threshold for the Hamming distance you're supplying. What can we do? Let's start simple. So again, I did this in my undergrad lectures all the time. You're not required to need to know this part. This is pointers for further interest. The material for our exam is what I actually explained to you or what we cover in the tutorials, but not these extra things. What can we do? If I give a certain position in the text, I can compare character by character with my pattern and see if the number of mismatches I get is below a certain threshold. So for example, if I have a threshold of k mismatches and my text and my pattern, I can do the brute force string matching algorithm that tries every possible position. And instead of checking that all characters match, I'm just counting how many don't and skipping ahead if there's too many. So I go through all the starting positions in the text and all the characters in the pattern. If the appropriate characters don't match, I count that mismatch. If I reach my threshold before I'm done, I don't continue. Whereas if I leave the loop without having seen too many mismatches, then that was an inexact match, and I'm returning this one. Instead of stopping here, you could collect them all and or keep going and return all of them. For the brute force algorithm, the running time is the same. or the worst case running time is the same. So that's not too surprising that something like this is possible. But let me point out again that this is not possible in this way for alignments. Because here we're really relying on the fact that you can check this single potential matching substring of T. That makes this so easy here. It could also easily be parallelized, as it has a few good properties. Doesn't need extra space, but if we're still in the same theta class as for the alignment-based methods. And I claimed that it's too slow, so it still is too slow. In particular, it doesn't even depend on this parameter k. Now, we'll see soon algorithms that involve k. The point where this is interesting is that both n and m are not so small in practice. N is big for sure, that's the genome, and m might be a single read where it's not so big, but we want to do this for a whole bunch of reads. So the total length of all the reads is even longer than the genome. But k, the number of mismatched characters that we would allow to still count it as a sensible match, that's going to stay small. Maybe a handful or so. Or for the SNPs, just one. So it would be cool if the algorithm somehow sped up with small k, but this one doesn't. How can we do this? We're going to use a magic ingredient that for now I'm just going to show you as a definition, and it'll take us a bit of time over the next week and maybe after the break to establish how this works internally. That's the longest common extension data structure. It does the following feat for us. We're given a string, and then we pre-process, we read that string and build a data structure so that after we have done this pre-processing, we can answer LCE queries, which means longest common extension queries, where you're given the text somehow, and the input to the LCE query are 2 positions in the text. And the output of the LCE query is the number of characters you can read from I and j to the right that are the same. And it should be the maximal, so the next one is different. So this length, that's L, the number of characters before the first mismatch. That's what's written here formally. Now, maybe before we continue, how could you do this without much thinking? Whenever you introduce a problem or a definition like this, what's an easy thing you could do? For all of these data structure problems, there's 2 extreme solutions that you should always try just to see how bad they are. One option is you do nothing up front and you do all the work whenever someone asks you to do the work. That's the lazy approach. No pre-processing, but whenever someone asks you for an LCE query, the only thing you can do is start at the position I and j and read from there to the right until you fail. So the running time for that is essentially the answer of the LCE query itself. It's cheap if that's short, but in the worst case, it's essentially linear. So clearly that's not so useful. That's essentially what the brute force algorithm is already doing. The other extreme approach is pre-compute everything. That's the overly eager approach. We'll worry about the pre-processing in a moment. If you store it in a clever way, say in a 2D array, then the query now just is a lookup, read a table entry, and return the number. But we have to fill this huge table. And at the very least, it's going to take constant time per entry that we write, because we have to keep all that information around. So first of all, it's quadratic space because of the table. I and j range over the whole length of the text. And the preprocessing has to at least fill this, so it has to have at least this as time as well. And unless you get creative and inventive, it's going to be worse than n squared time. So clearly that solution is not so enticing, because any quadratic algorithm on a genome-sized data set is not going to finish. Or, you have to work extremely hard to make that viable. Now, the black box that I'm not going to tell you for now what it looks like internally can do a linear time preprocessing using linear space and still find the LCEs in constant time. So it is strictly better than either of these extreme solutions in that it keeps the best query time and almost, I mean, the pre-processing time was 0 for the lazy approach. It's maybe hard to beat, but the space still needs to store the string. So you could say it's linear in the same way. And this data structure eventually does the best of both worlds without any compromise. So we'll ultimately see what this works like, but for now, let's just treat it as a black box result and see what we can use from this. So after linear time pre-processing in terms of time and space, we can find longest common extensions in constant time each. Okay. And with that, we can build what's called the kangaroo algorithm, because it jumps in various places. I'll show it briefly. There's something we need. LCE, as I defined it, is on a single string. So there's one text, and I can have 2 positions in that text, and then I can say how many characters are common from there on. If you think about the brute force algorithm for this inexact string matching, we really can't do anything about the mismatching part, but if I have several characters that match, I could use an LCE query to jump over those. That's what we're going to do. That's what the kangaroo jumps are. But for that, we need 1 position in the text and 1 position in the pattern, and do LCE queries across the 2 strings. And so at first, you may wonder how that can work, but you can build a single string so that it works. Essentially, just concatenate the 2, but it's smart to put some new characters in between that mark the end of either of the strings, so that no longest common extension will ever run out of T into P. That would potentially be a worry if you're close to the end of T, and at some point in P, you may use an extension that uses the first characters of P again. If you put a $, that doesn't match any character in P, then you're safe that this doesn't happen. So we can completely ignore in the construction of LCE data structures when we get to it in the future, that oftentimes you want to apply it to a set of strings, not a single string. You can always do this reduction step, and then the same algorithm works. So with that, we get to this kangaroo algorithm, which is really the brute force algorithm we've just seen, except that it jumps over the matching parts. So much of the structure looks similar, but here we first jump in from the 2 positions for as many characters as we can, and we increment by that many characters. And I'm already adding here +1 because I don't have to check the next character. It has to be a mismatch by definition. So I can directly jump over this and count it. And so again, if I run out of budget for the mismatches, then it would probably be useful to have k as a parameter here. If I run out of mismatch budget before I'm done with the pattern, then that's not a match and I have to continue. Otherwise, I can return this. The time for this is whatever I need for the pre-processing for this longest common extension data structure, and then a loop that runs n times and a loop that runs at most k times. So it's overall running time n times k for the matching part. That sounds not so far away from n times from n times m, but remember that k is much smaller than m. This is the number of mismatches, so maybe a handful, whereas m was hundreds for sure. And this is indeed a useful method if k is indeed small. This is it's not the worst approach. Of course, what I'm hiding here is the complexity of building this longest common extension data structure. The promise will eventually come out true that it is in linear time to build this, but it's not for free. So in particular, if you look at it from this black box approach, it's not clear how much we can reuse pre-processing steps. At least the way we formulated it, you have to pre-process the entire genome and each read in each step. That sounds very expensive. But we can do this for several patterns. So in a way, it's not an actual problem, but you have to look into the box a bit. Or what you can do at this level is just extend this with all the patterns that you want to process in one go. Then you can make this work.